Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. We will just wait for another minute or so. We have more participants joining in, so just give us another minute and we will get started. All right, I think we are good to start. Again, just wanted to reiterate the thanks. Thank you for joining this session on a Friday morning. I know you would have had busy schedules and you're taking the time out. Really appreciate that. So this particular session is part of our uh, Autodesk 2021 release new features is the first part of that series. I think we have another series planned for the infrastructure solutions uh, sometime later this month. And this particular session, I'll be focusing on Autodesk building design solutions. And again, we will just come to know. So there are quite a number of applications. There's a lot of content that I need to cover. So I'll just quickly dive in and get started. Just wanted to put out a safe harbor statement. There will be a few new things that I'll be sharing with you. So some of them are already part of the application. Some of them are capabilities that we've custom developed. So again, don't hold us accountable for that. These are some of them might be forward-looking statements, and they might get released later in the year or maybe very soon. Okay, at this point, you would be receiving a quick poll just so that we can understand a bit more about the audience, what disciplines you are, so that we can customize our presentation as per, the people who are attending. So you would be receiving, I think the questions would be there on your screen. Just help us with the answers and then we'll get started with the presentation. Okay, I see lots of architecture and that's good to know. Please, just quickly, just select one and yeah, let's get this thing over quickly. Great, great. The next question is, what is the most commonly used tool? So what is the tool that you use most often for your day-to-day work? Oh, okay. So lots of Revit and AutoCAD users. Great, great. So I can understand, and lots of Revit users. So again, we'll focus our attention on Revit primarily. It's surprising, no, I mean, none of you use Navisworks. This is a surprise. Okay, probably we had to give only, you would probably have only one option to select. That's why Revit, I think, otherwise Navisworks would have also been. So I think we had an earlier session on the AutoCAD new functionalities. So probably I might not be capturing a lot of those details, but definitely we'll be focusing on new capabilities in Revit. I think we have a lot of civil people who probably are focusing on civil 3D and InfraWorks. So yeah, probably we will be having another webinar focusing on that as well. Okay, the final question. what is the version that you currently use, or what's the last version, last release of Autodesk solution, let's say Revit or whatever platforms you use, AutoCAD, which version do you have you used? So again, quite a few people who've not seen or explored 2021. So I think you'll get to learn a lot because we've added a lot of capability. And trust me, when I say lot, you'll see this is going to be a longish session. So a lot of 2020 and 2019 users. And still, there are people who are using older versions. So good time to switch over to 2021 because you get a lot of benefit out of it. Okay, we'll just give okay. Thank you so much for the feedback. Very useful for me to understand, the audience really well. Okay, let's get started with the content. So first thing, what's new in 2021 in general is everyone is talking about it. This has been the focus of attention since I believe early 2021, right from January, once it surfaced in China, and then it kind of progressed across the globe. And somewhere in March, it came to India, and across the globe, it's caused havoc. So Autodesk has put in a lot of effort in terms of helping our customers mitigate the challenges that have cropped up due to the whole pandemic situation. Uh, I believe you attended a couple of our earlier webinars where probably my colleagues would have put across the initiatives that we had taken specifically around enabling cloud access to each and every user from home. So Autodesk had this extended access program that started late in March, and it went right up till June end. So you had free access to kind of collaborate from your homes where when our whole movement was restricted. So that was one of the initiatives. But now that we are in a situation where we want to return to workplace, where we want to return to offices, but there are these physical distancing guidelines that also need to be met, and that leads us to kind of restructure or relay out all our office environments to better understand whether the current office setup I have uh, will help me mitigate scenarios where I can restrict any community transmission. So I just wanted to start off by sharing some of the applications we have which can help you with those sort of, planning those sort of scenarios. The first thing, which is again a new capability, which I'll be talking later which has been added in Revit 2021, which is around generative design. Now I'll just talk about generative design very quickly. It's a exploratory approach to uh, identify, or using the power of uh, the cloud. We can run thousands of simulations in a go to find the best suitable outcome based on the constraints that are defined. In this particular case, my goal is maintaining physical distancing between team members. I have defined what kind of a furniture I'll be using, what will be the room size, what will be the area of the room, and then we define what our goals are. So our goals probably would be maintaining the physical distance and having the right number of desks so that the occupancy of the room can be controlled. And maybe let's say I want to restrict or maximize the outside view. So if you see it's a complete curtain panel, so I want people to have outside views the maximum to the maximum extent. So those are the goals that I want to achieve. So what generative design does is, based on the conditions that I have set, based on the goals that I have defined, it will generate multiple layouts. And as and when I tweak my objectives and goals, you'll see here it has generated multiple layouts, and I can easily switch. And with one click operation, it will automatically lay out those elements. And probably you could have seen three different layouts that it has already generated for me. But then some of them might not meet my requirement, because you could see there was a curtain pan a partition which probably the layout of that table hinders the opening of that partition. So I might have to retweak the entire layout, but then it again gives me a different layout altogether. But in this particular case, even though the partition might get closed, I mean, I get that thing sorted, but then the adjacency aspect is something which kind of does not meet the physical distancing characteristic. So again, I ask it to rerun the layout, or I probably try and select a different layout scheme which addresses the physical distances, which physical distancing aspect, which addresses my that there should be no entrance to partitions closing just in case I want to separate out the rooms or separate out the spaces. And then finally it gives me this layout system where I could see that I have all the criteria being met, and here you can see all the multiple outcomes that it has generated. So again, this is from a workspace layout functionality. Another aspect which is very critical is in terms of people simulation. Generally, when people move to offices, we have common office timings, right? So there is a rush of people at let's say 9 a.m. in the morning. Everybody is parking their cars, and everybody arrives at the office at a very stipulated time. And again, which is again going to uh, where we will not be able to manage the whole physical distancing aspect. So again, we have InfraWorks. There is a capability to check for mobility simulation in which we can define multiple alternatives to plan out the whole physical distancing uh, uh, scenario, where we can have staggered arrival times, where we can define different routes for different team members. We can minimize the use of elevators, uh, and again, uh, all those different scenarios we can actually virtually simulate to identify that the physical distancing is being maintained by teams. We can again check for multiple directional flow patterns, whether we want unidirectional flow or even if it is bidirectional flow of people. Then if we can create zones, different zones for different teams or different individuals, whether that can help in terms of maintaining physical distancing. So again, the idea is to give you guys the flexibility to take decisions more accurately uh, uh, with more analytics available to you, right? With rather than just doing it on a schematic level or just on a thought level. We wanted to give you tools where you can analyze different scenarios to take the best decisions. And finally, the last part, we talk about the office environment, how I can control the spread in the office environment. What if my manager comes over and stands over my head, right? And again, how do I control that scenario? How do I maintain that physical distancing? So here, if you can see, Autodesk CFD tool allows you to do this airflow analysis, where I can identify what is the minimum distance I need to maintain, or how should I approach that scenario. Even between team members, do I need to place infill partitions? Even if I want to place infill partitions, what should be the correct height of the partition? So again, it gives me the flexibility to approach designs from various different aspects, and again take the right decision with a lot of data being available to me. So again, you can approach the design in multiple different scenarios, whether you want to change the furniture layout or you want to change the equipment layout, the diffusers that you have. So today, I believe, or probably when the whole situation started, there were concerns that people, where we have central air conditioning, can that be a cause of uh, spread of the virus? So how do we control that? How we can stagger the whole diffuser systems? And again, gives me a complete visibility. So if I am sitting adjacent to my team, with whether if I sneeze, would the particles reach the other team member? So how I can control or mitigate those things? How doing fluid flow analysis or air flow analysis really gives me that capability. So another aspect that we've wanted to touch base on is something which is readily available within the Autodesk platform. So something for you to look at. So again, the whole return to so idea is to smoothen the return to workplace scenario for your teams. Okay, let's jump to the topic at hand today. And again, I'll start off with the most popular platform, which is Revit. And again, when I say Revit, it encompasses the entire product capabilities, right from something which will be common to all the disciplines to discipline specific updates that we've made across architecture, structure, and MEP. Now, because of the time constraint, I might not be able to cover all the capabilities, but I've tried my best to capture the critical ones, or the ones which probably would have a higher priority and will help you understand the core benefit. Okay, starting off with the first one. Today, you can, with the latest release, you can link and unload images and PDFs in project models both locally and from the cloud. You can easily keep this information updated while also not increasing file size or embedding the image or PDF file for security or IP reasons. This functionality improves sorting, adds size reporting, adds multi-select for unload, reload, remove operations. It adds the ability to convert links to imports and add the show button to find a PDF or image in the model. This will help you utilize and manage images and PDFs much more easily in Revit with the new linking functionality. For BIM users who are getting started with Revit, the customized workspace is a user experience improvement that makes multiple disciplines uh, feel like purposefully built. You can now create a user profile to allow Revit to provide a workspace suggestion tailored to your work discipline and job role. This functionality takes the first step towards building a customized workspace for Revit users. The next one is focusing on the row striping for schedule capability. So the stripe rows parameter today enables you to display alternating schedule rows in contrasting colors, making large schedules easier to read. Both colors are user selectable for each schedule view. When you enable the stripe rows parameter for a schedule, you will also have the option to enable show stripe rows on sheets. This parameter will display your selected row colors in sheet views. These settings may be saved in a schedule view template. This new feature gives users more control over the appearance of schedules in their projects. Uh, Again, another key enhancement has been made on the infrastructure, uh, uh, integrating infrastructure workflows within Revit. So while Revit already offers multidisciplinary BIM capabilities for higher quality, coordinated design, we have also now extended Revit's built-in capability to better support bridge design in Revit. A new category filter for the infrastructure discipline has been added. Bridge model categories and subcategories and bridge annotation categories have also been added to help manage and display of bridge related elements. These categories have been designed to support the InfraWorks to Revit workflow. So creating new Revit model families based on these categories today is currently not supported. This basically opens up your capabilities around integrating your core infrastructure and building design workflows between Revit and InfraWorks. In Revit 2021, Dynamo for Revit 2.5 is included in the Revit installation, and there are a host of new capabilities that we've added. Dynamo now finds required packages in the refreshed workspace references viewer and automatically notifies you if any of those are missing. The viewer lists the packages used in your graph along with their version and status. In the package manager user interface, the download button has been removed to reduce confusion and promote positive reinforcement. The filter icon has been changed to filter by text to improve discoverability. Significant performance improvements have been made, particularly for large graphs that make changes to a Revit model. Runtimes have been reduced by almost up to 99.9%. Also, another key enhancement in Dynamo has been around adding these 10 new commonly requested nodes, focusing around joining of elements, identifying whether an element is pinned or not, or getting details of all my hosted elements. So something which was requested on the Revit Idea Station is now already incorporated. Another key capability is now Revit offers users the ability to create view filters that control the visibility or graphics display of elements. Using the filters tab in the visibility graphics dialog, these filters may be applied to one or more views in a Revit project. In 2021, a new enable filter column has been added to that dialog. This gives you the ability to quickly turn on and turn off the overrides of a view filter without having to remove that filter from the view. This gives users the ability to quickly apply or remove view filters, graphic overrides from elements in a view. In the previous versions of Revit, tags assigned to components did not rotate with those elements, that they maintained their original orientation. In Revit 2021, you can now control this particular behavior. Simply select the tag, open it for editing by clicking the Edit Family button, and you can enable the Rotate with Component parameter in the Properties palette. This will enable the tag to rotate with the component to which it is assigned on your documentation. Again, this helps you create more accurate and readable annotations, and also helps you save a lot of time in case there is a change in the orientation or the layout of the equipment or the component. Another key capability which has been enhanced is in terms of adding void cuttability to the family geometry by using type and instance parameters. Voids are often used in Revit families. In some cases, can be the defining difference between family types. This particular enhancement will be useful for countertop families that utilize different fixture inserts, or for window families that utilize sills with and without drip edges. Revit's out-of-the-box hard-coded line styles are now consistently named and sorted. To lighten the Revit installer, most sample content is no longer installed along with Revit. A new Get Autodesk Content button has been added to ensure that customers who do not use the sample content have quick and easy access to download this information. Another benefit is around the sun and shadows being more accurate in extreme locations like the polar regions. So that's another enhancement which has been made. Coming to the architectural benefits, the first being around generative design. So first of all, what generative design entails. So we had a quick snippet earlier during the presentation of what I can achieve with generative design. But to kind of define it, generative design is a design exploration process to quickly generate and evaluate high performance design alternatives. Till now, many generative design tools have been hard to use because they require users to know how to code, understand special terminology, or know how genetic algorithms work. Now, with this functionality being added in Revit, you can quickly generate design alternatives based on your goals, constraints, and inputs. And it provides a set of, we've also added a few examples to get you started. So you will, when you install Revit 2021, it comes with some sample studies already in place. One of them being the example that I shared with you around automating the workspace layout for your particular offices or other maybe retail buildings or other type of buildings. Another enhancement is around real-time realistic views. Now you can work directly in better, easier, and faster live rendered views in Revit. This feature replaces realistic views available in past releases. You can experience over 10x faster performance and automatic exposure control. The new mode is available in all types of views and allows direct editing of the model with rendered materials and lights. You can walk through a finished model, design and modify your buildings with realistic lighting and materials while you or you can simply place views with materials and lightings directly onto the sheet. Slanted walls is another feature which has been requested for some time, and it's finally being uh, included, or it's finally now available in the latest release. So you can simply apply a slant or a tilt to the walls during the creation by selecting slanted from the new cross-section instance parameter in the constraint section of the properties palette. You can also change an existing vertical wall to a slanted wall. When the slanted option is selected, the angle from vertical parameter is enabled. Use this parameter to select the inclination of the wall, which can range between plus 90 and minus 90 degrees. You may also use the editing grips at the top of the wall to adjust its height or angle. Windows and doors hosted in slanted walls will display an additional orientation instance parameter in the constraint sections of the properties palette. You may elect to have the hosted element match the angle of the wall by changing this parameter from vertical to slanted. This improvement will help you create complex architectural, structural, and curtain walls in Revit 2021. Again, as part of our core focus on around interoperability, we've improved or enhanced the Revit to Inventor linking capability. Today, Autodesk Inventor X in 2021 extends AnyCAD functionality for Autodesk Revit to help manufacturers in the construction industry collaborate and coordinate on BIM projects. There is improved interoperability between Revit and Inventor by maintaining an associative link to insert Revit data as you work. The Revit project can be accessed from a local file or coordinated via the cloud using Autodesk BIM 360 Common Data Environment. Changes during the design processes are inevitable. When the Revit model changes, you will need to update the Inventor model to suit. Because the Revit model is referenced into your Inventor assembly, any change to the Revit project will also update the Inventor assembly and without the file translation. This helps improve the interoperability between Revit and Inventor, which provides better support for design to fabrication workflows today. Moving over to the structural enhancements. Again, another gravely requested functionality of having 3D rebar shapes, which extend in multiple planes. So specifically around these standees or chair rebars. So that is another key capability which has been incorporated. And again, you can enable all the shapecode characteristics for these 3D rebar shapes. And again, you can leverage the same information for preparation of your bar bending schedules, as well as your full fabrication, drawing and fabrication details for the set of rebars. In Revit 2021, now you can add an end treatment to the end of any rebar coupler without the need for a rebar coupler. Select any rebar and change the end treatment to start or end to any of the values defined in the project. This functionality provides structural engineers and detailers with greater control over reinforcement end treatments. The next feature is around being able to define the hook length by instances of the rebar separately. So we all know that the bond between steel and concrete is essential to ensure that they perform as a single entity in a loaded structure. To achieve that full bond strength, the surfaces need to be in contact for a calculated length called the anchorage length. In Revit 2021, you can easily specify the hook length for each rebar in the project without the need to duplicate the hook type and change their length for that type. This is accomplished by selecting the override hook length option in the properties palette and inputting the new length in the respective rebar shape parameter field. This new functionality improves the user efficiency and productivity in modeling accurate reinforcement. I believe some of you, again, since I could see a lot of you have been using Revit 2019 and more latest releases of Revit. So you would be aware that we have added the precast module in Revit to support all your prefabrication related workflows or precast related workflows. The limitation in the whole process was that the precast application or the precast module had to be separately installed in earlier versions of Revit. In Revit 2021, the precast module or the precast extension is fully integrated into the Revit environment. So as and when you install Revit, the precast extension gets installed along with the Revit, and I mean it kind of simplifies the entire deployment process for the users. Another capability is focusing on the structural analysis and results exploration uh, utility, again, which had to be installed separately as a plugin through the desktop app. Today, it is also installed along with the Revit core application. So you don't really need to install, download or kind of look for a separate plugin to get these sort of things enabled within the Revit environment. So it again simplifies the deployment process and provides the right visualization tools for structural engineers within the Revit environment. Again, as part of our core focus on steel detailing in Revit, we have provided extended capabilities uh, to help modify steel elements or connections. So today in Revit 2021, to change the shape of a plate, you can just simply select the plate, press the edit boundary button and stretch one of the plate's edges to the desired location. If you want to edit a simple or a complex cut, you can simply select the desired cut using the tab key, press the edit boundary button and choose from several options to change the shape of the cut or add, for example, a radius to one of its corners to add a fillet to it. These improve the overall efficiency and provide greater flexibility to the team when they are doing steel detailing in Revit. Stiffeners are an important component of structural steel design. They are used to strengthen a steel beam or a column. A dedicated tool for creating stiffeners is now available in structural connection setting dialog box. Once loaded into your project, it is available from the type selected. You can then insert stiffeners on the selected steel members by specifying the insertion point. Like all Revit families, stiffeners have types. This means you can create a library of stiffeners, and stiffeners can be a different location along the same beam or to a different beam. In earlier releases or earlier versions of Revit, users were limited to inserting steel components in 3D views and 2D horizontal views, such as levels and floor plans. In 2021, this limitation has been removed. Revit users may now place steel components in 2D vertical views. For example, a user may insert a steel plate in an elevation view or a vertical section. This new feature gives you the freedom to model steel components in any view, wherever you prefer to see, create, or adjust them. When creating engineering drawings for steel connections, you may wish to create dimensions to the center of a plate for more accuracy. In addition to creating edge distances for a steel plate, it is now possible to snap to its midpoint and create dimensions including the distance from the plate edge to its center, both vertically and horizontally. For stiffeners and connection plates along the beam, improvements have been made that enable you to dimension them from center to center with a dimension to the center line of the beam depth. Because these dimensions are parametric, if you move these stiffeners, the values of the dimensions between them will update automatically. This allows you to efficiently create more accurate and readable engineering documentation for structural steel projects. Moving over to the next part of our presentation, which is new capabilities in the MEP workflows. I'll start off with the electrical uh, uh, enhancement made in the electrical discipline. The first being around electrical circuit naming. So in electrical settings, we've added a new node called circuit naming. The circuit naming schemes created here show up as options in the circuit naming parameter list on each panel. You can select a scheme for the project that is used for all panels that have their circuit naming values set to by project setting. In order to make Revit more adaptable to a global market, we are providing a flexible method to define circuit naming schemes. Revit now supports showing a single bus column in the panel schedule template that only shows a single phase. Loads on a single phase panel will all be connected to a single phase. With this enhancement, when selecting a distribution system to assign to a panel, Revit will check the voltage and poles assigned to the connector and filter out any distribution systems that don't match. All panel loads are on a single phase and the phase total loads tabulate accordingly. The panel schedule will show the loads on the phase defined by what phase it is connected to and on the panel it is fed from. Schedules that use the hide column for third phase option will now hide columns for all unused phases and will be applied automatically during updates. The option text has also been revised to reflect this new behavior. After upgrading, if a model already has circuits connected to a mismatched panel, the circuit connection will be kept. Then, if a user continues to assign circuits after upgrade, a warning displays to let the user know of a mismatch scenario. With this enhancement, Revit now properly supports single-phase panels. Switchboards no longer report a value for the maximum number one pole breaker parameter in schedules and view filters, as the maximum number of circuit parameter is used instead. Also, there is a new family parameter in electrical equipment part type for the board. Switchboard schedules now show the quantity of circuits rather than the number of connected poles. Okay, another requested feature was around switchboard circuit phase selection. So prior to this enhancement, 1 and 2 pole circuits were always connected to phase A when it was connected to a switchboard, making it impossible for a user to specify what phase a load is connected to. In Revit 2021, a new switch phases command has been added when selecting a circuit in a switchboard panel schedule. This toggles the phase to switch to which the circuit is connected and loads on the switchboard bus update accordingly. Additionally, it is now possible to modify parameters of spares and spaces, such as the poles and frame size. This allows users to specify the desired phase for circuits on switchboards. The project browser now lists panel schedules under the sheets on which they are placed, improving consistency with other features on the project browser and helping users more accurately navigate their project to get to the information they need. They are also searchable within the project's browser. Also part of the earlier 2020.2 release was making it possible to modify properties of circuits and panels in the properties palette from within the panel schedule view, making it easier and quicker to make modifications to these components without having to switch views. This addition provides electrical designers with faster and more consistent navigation for panel schedules. Okay, moving to the work sharing enhancements. So using the work sharing display to compare the legacy and new behavior, uh, previously all indirectly modified elements were borrowed. Now it's only the directly modified elements that are borrowed. To resolve work sharing issues, the auto heal behavior for inline elements was disabled. Understanding of the trade-off for having the undesirable was behaviors removed versus being in control of exactly what happens is very beneficial. These improvements will enable MEP professionals to collaborate more effectively when using Revit Workshare. New pipe flow units have been added, which uh, allow or which better serve the mechanical designers. So today you will see new units such as cubic feet per hour, cubic feet per minute, and liters per hour as units for pipe flow. The important export features for MP fabrication are now located in standardized menus and output tools. Uh, these have been relocated from the add-in tabs to the contextual menus that appear upon selection of the MP fabrication parts. The former Revit extension for MEP fabrication today has again now been fully integrated into Revit 2021. So you don't really need to look for a separate plugin anymore for MEP fabrication. It's all plugged in to the core Revit deployment. Okay, moving over to the next piece of our technology, which is our next building design tool within the Autodesk solutions is Advanced Seal, which is our core structural steel detailing platform. Again, I've just tweaked. I might not be able to cover all the functionalities, but again, I'll just try and touch base on the more critical and the more important. The first being the ability to stretch a beam along its system line. So today you have a new lengthen option which has been added for all your curved and your straight members, which allows you to stretch a member along its system line and extend the length of the member in case that is required. It basically how it works is you can just simply select the member, and there is this new lengthen option that you get in the contextual menu. After you select this option, you can simply stretch the beam along its system line. A new messaging framework has been included for user created sections or the user sections, which allows or provides you details of the errors that have been made while the definition of the section. So in case there are multiple contour layers being detected, or there is overlapping geometries which is detected. So again, a separate contextual menu or a messaging menu will open up, giving you details. This will help users create user sections more easily and efficiently because they understand the reason for the inaccuracy or the error. A new functionality has been added which allows you to switch connection pattern on the objects. So when modeling steel components, it is very useful in some situations to replace holes with connectors, like maybe studs or bolts or anchor bolts. In 2021, selecting anchors or selecting holes will give you an access to the new change into holes or probably vice versa option in the contextual menu. This feature enables you to replace these connector with holes. The same behavior is applicable vice versa for bolts as well as for anchor bolts as well. A new feature has been added specifically for creating monovill panelized handrail systems. While selecting the railing option in Advanced Seal, you'll see a third feature, a third option specifically available for creating this type of customized handrail system. And again, using the macros and using the wizards, you can individually control the panel characteristics and the other characteristics with regards to the railing configurations. Moving to the next part, which is around the documentation, core documentation improvements in Advanced Seal. So with the 2021 release, using the search tool, you can easily find parts for which the single part shop drawings or assembly drawings have already been created. You can save the search request, making it available in the Project Explorer for future use. The search results are highlighted with a different color in the 3D model. You can select these parts or assemblies with a dedicated icon and use one of the provided templates to create their shop drawings automatically. This feature makes it easy to track the detailing status of the different parts and assemblies in your model. Another enhancement has been in terms of ignoring the holes on objects while we are doing the numbering operation. So when working with steel components in Advanced Seal, sometimes it may be preferred to not consider the holes on the paths to drive the numbering for those elements. For example, you may have a set of parts that are similar in size and shape, but have different numbers, but have different number of holes added onto them. In 2021, Advanced 2021, you can now select use holes for numbering in the object properties to utilize these holes as numbering parameters. This will give users more control of the part numbering behavior for steel components with holes. Advanced 2021 offers improvements to the display of leaders for weld symbols. You may now remove a leader line from a weld symbol using the remove leader line option in the contextual menu. You may also add a leader line to a reference object. To do so, select add leader line in the contextual menu. This feature helps users create more readable documentation. I'm so sorry. This feature helps users create more readable documentation for steel fabrication in Advanced Steel. We can also today create a combined weld symbol. So this can be done by activating a new default available in the management tool. You can automatically get combined weld symbols corresponding to welds connecting elements with the same single part numbers. This will help you create more readable drawings with information for welds. With Advanced Steel, you can use one of the drawing processes available out of the box to create shop drawings automatically. In 2021, however, you have more abilities to create, configure the way detailed drawings are generated and organized on sheets when using a drawing process to create them. New detail sorting possibilities have been added. You can sort your drawings as per coating, lot phase, material, name, model role, or even user attributes. Again, these additional possibilities for configuring drawing processes provide you more flexibility for creating your drawing sheets. Again, as part of our core workflow or core uh, focus around interoperability, the Advanced Steel 2021 extension for Revit transfers steel members and steel connections uh, bidirectionally between Revit and Advanced Steel. Not only the parametric steel connections are transferred between the two products, but also individual components of custom connections such as plates, bolts, anchors, and welds. This enhanced workflow helps steel retailers and fabricators to take better advantage of the steel model designed in Revit. With the bidirectional link between Revit 2021 and Advanced Steel 2021, you can connect design and fabrication and share LOD 350 model information. We've also added capability around localizing the Revit for enhancing the user experience for that. So several improvements have been made for templates delivered by default with Advanced Steel 2021 specifically for the US market, which provide you greater productivity and efficiency when creating your deliverables specifically for US customers, fabricators or retailers. The final application I wanted to touch base as part of our core building design solution is robot structural analysis. Now, I believe some of you might have tried robot at some point of time. Some of you might be very new to it, but this is our core structural analysis design offering. And again, we are enhancing it to meet the user requirements around various different aspects. So whether it be around structural analysis, design, code checking, so a lot more enhancements are being incorporated. The first being around the user experience. So today, robots support 4K resolution monitors, which allows or which improves the overall usability of robot, and again provides a better user experience to the user. In in Robot 2021, we've made enhancements to the wind load simulation functionality. The wind load simulation feature enables you to simulate airflow around your structure and to generate wind loads automatically. This feature is especially useful with structures that are geometrically complex and for which it is usually difficult to define accurate wind loads. The wind load simulation feature acts as a virtual wind tunnel, displaying colored pressure maps on the model in order to facilitate visualization and understanding of visual effect of wind effects. In 2021 release, you can now specify whether to apply pressure as an average load for a panel or as a detailed pressure along a finite element mesh. If you opt not to apply the average load, you will obtain a detailed picture of how the pressure will be distributed. This is particularly useful for wind loads generated on complex objects. With more detailed pressure results, structural engineers can better predict and design for wind load effects, thus avoiding potentially costly design changes. In previous versions of robot structural analysis, all load cases, including self-weight, both dead and live loads, were applied to the complete structural analysis model in a single step. However, this approach is not always appropriate, particularly for high-rise buildings. In order to simulate construction stages properly, sequential loading for stories has been introduced in robot. Sequential self-weight now builds construction stages for each story and collects those results into a single load case in successive iterations. We can also study the deformations for a given story uh, without considering the stiffness of the above story through an iterative process. This new functionality enables simulation of the construction process without the need to create phases, which can be tedious and time consuming. Shear walls today are used to resist all horizontal loads produced by wind or seismic action in tall buildings. Alternatively, a lift shaft or service duct is used as the main horizontal load carrying member. This is known as a core wall. A shear wall or a core wall may be analyzed as a very large vertical cantilevered beam. In robot, you can define a core wall by a grouping of walls. With the 2021 release, you can also define the primary local x-axis direction for a core wall. The vector definition is a projection to the xy plane. You can then visualize local coordinate axes for the defined core walls. Once the structural analysis has been performed, additional results can be obtained for the core walls as reduced stories, forces, and moments along the uh, vertical axis of the gravity center of the core wall section. The results of the reduced forces for the core walls are available in the form of diagrams and tables. You can now explore results both in local axis as well as display core wall results for the individual walls as part of these improvements. Finally, as part of our focus on localization and countrification, we've improve the code checking capabilities to meet the regional requirements of robot. So you'll see a lot of enhancements have been made from a steel design and connection design perspective. Specifically from an Indian design perspective, then the Indian Steel Section Database IS 12778, which is one of the most widely used section catalogs, the sections which have been both narrow flange sections, again sections which are typically manufactured by organizations like SAIL, are now part of the default catalogs and can be used for steel design workflows. And again, apart from that, enhancements have been made to codes from New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, as well as the Polish code enhancements specifically for around steel connection design have been incorporated. For snow and wind load generation, revisions from the ASC 716 have been incorporated so that users get the flexibility to automatically generate snow and wind loads for their structures. This helps the structural engineers save a lot of time and effort in terms of defining snow and wind loads for their structures. With that, I come to a conclusion of my presentation. You can find a lot more details around the new features across all our products. So there is specific YouTube playlist for the new features we've added in Revit 2021, Advanced 2021. So you can use the links to explore them, as well as we have a dedicated channel called Autodesk Building Solutions on YouTube. I would recommend you to subscribe to this particular channel because all the enhancements that we make, all the improvements that we make, we typically share all those details on a weekly basis, on a fortnightly basis on this YouTube channel. So all the details are published. Also, just keep in touch, all the Revit users, keep in touch, or maybe subscribe to the Revit product blog, where again, anytime there is a new release or a new functionality add, we publish the details regarding that. All right, with that, I come to the Q&A part of the session. So just feel free to put across your questions in the questions dialog box or the chat window, and I would like to take up the questions that you have. So let me see if we have any questions as of now. Okay, I have one question which says, Dynamo scripts are not easy to use, are not that easy to learn. There is no uniform code, and every time developing one is not an easy task. Generator designing long term with Dynamo as a dependency is not. Okay, the thing being said, the idea or the intent of uh, okay, I think there is a quick poll. So while you answer the poll, the see Dynamo as a platform was initially developed for non-programmers, right? So again, I understand that initially you might have to spend some time to get familiar to the interface and to customize workflows. But the whole objective is that people who are not familiar with scripting, people who are not familiar with coding, uh, should also have the flexibility to create their own plugins, to create their own add-ins. And that is where Dynamo really comes to the fore. Uh, Also, there is a lot of sample content which is available in Dynamo to help you get started. So there is a Dynamo primer document which gives you the complete details in terms of the in and outs of Dynamo, how to get started, how to use it. But yes, I agree. You would have to spend some time. And again, it is true with most other applications and platforms. Uh, Even for Revit, it's not a plug and play tool. You cannot produce a GFC in Revit on the first day or on the second day, right? You would have to spend time to understand the interface. So it's the same thing with Dynamo. You might have to spend some time initially. And again, there is a lot of logic-based workflow in Dynamo. So you need to create the whole logic in your mind and then find out all the relevant nodes and all the relevant packages that you want to make use of. Again, there are various platforms today available where you can learn more about Dynamo. So there is I mentioned about the Dynamo primer document, which is a getting started document. There is a lot of people having channels on YouTube which are releasing these getting started videos, or coming up with custom workflows on Dynamo. So you can have a look at YouTube. There is amazing content today available. There are learning paths available with various platforms like CAD Learning or LinkedIn Learning that can be taken advantage of to get you started on Dynamo, right? But yes, Dynamo again. Once you get familiar with the interface and once you get hooked to the platform, trust me, it simplifies the whole work. Okay, another question is, where can we use generative design and what are the possibilities from generative design? So generative design can be applied across various different segments and across various different workflows. So I just mentioned a couple of or a few or maybe one of the workflows which is around workspace layout. It could be utilized for space planning. So let's say if I'm planning a residential building, then what should be the most optimum layout for my flat arrangement in which I can maximize the use of the area. It could be utilized for FAR planning, for the overall building mass planning. It could be utilized for your overall urban planning workflows. Uh, Generative design today is applicable across the infrastructure segment. So the entire parking layout can be, generative design could be a great means to do the parking layout. Uh, so there are various use cases where there are various workflows available. Just search for generative design for Revit or Autodesk generative design, and you'll find these. So even in Revit itself, if you have installed Revit 2021, you'll get 3 sample studies coming out of the box focusing on generative design. One will be around workspace layout. Another one would be around FAR optimization, and the third one will be around the overall building mass optimization. So figuring out what is the most optimum form for the building. So building form optimization. So these are the 3 studies that you'll get out of the box. Additionally, you can use it for space planning, you can use it for urban planning. So maybe in case it's a township you are developing, then again, how you can maximize the commercial area, or how you can maximize the retail area, or how you can maximize open area coverage. So all of those scenarios, the constraints can be defined through a Dynamo script and then taken into the generative design workflow. We'll plan a more detailed session on generative design in the time to come, and again, I'll share more use cases in that particular webinar. But in the meanwhile, you can always go to Autodesk Building Solutions channel and just search for generative design, or you can just simply search for generative design for Revit, and you'll find a lot of content within that as well. Okay, a great question has come. Does Dynamo work only with Revit or all AEC software? So today we are focusing on improving the integration of Dynamo with each and every Autodesk AEC collection solution. Today it has a ready integration with Revit, Advanced Steel, Civil 3D, Robot, and again we are looking at other integrations, bringing in other integrations as well. There are third-party packages which allow integration of Dynamo with tools like Navisworks also. So again, today, if you look at it, all the major authoring platforms that we have, Revit, Advanced Steel, Civil 3D, so Dynamo is readily integrated in those applications. Okay, I'll take one final question, which is around updates in Navisworks 2021. So again, Navisworks 2021 is a pretty comprehensive tool. And today what we are doing is we are trying to improve upon the productivity, or making some productivity related enhancements. I did not cover it because I had a time constraint, but a couple of enhancements that I can talk about is improving the overall integration of third-party formats, data formats like IFC. There is a lot of improvement in terms of understanding IFC details or IFC data in the Navisworks environment. And another enhancement that we've made in Navisworks is around integrating the BIM 360 workflows within the Navisworks framework. So today you have an issues BIM 360 issues plugin or BIM 360 issues add-in, which directly gets integrated within your Navisworks environment, so that you can directly escalate issues. So if you are doing clash coordination in Navisworks, you can directly escalate an issue from the Navisworks environment. It will automatically be available to all your team members on the BIM 360 environment, and vice versa. So you can escalate it from BIM 360 environment, and that issue will be visible to you in the Navisworks core user environment. So that's another core enhancement. But again, there are a few more enhancements. And again, let me see if I can plan out a more specific webinar. But having said that, Navisworks is quite a comprehensive utility today. So in terms of adding more functionalities, again, we are focusing more on the productivity side of it, and again, less on the feature enhancement side of it. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Sure, Mr. Raviraj. I'll try and see if I can plan a dedicated session on Dynamo, and how it integrates with all other AEC softwares. Absolutely. So yes, BIM 360 is going to. So today, see, if I have to answer that, and probably that will be the last thing maybe for today. BIM 360 already has a very good integration with most of our design authoring platforms, whether it be Revit, Civil 3D, Advanced Steel, Plant 3D, So design collaboration workflows today are supported through BIM 360. We are also looking at extending it to our manufacturing tools. So tools like Inventor, integrating BIM 360 as core part of that workflow also is something that we are looking at. But yes, moving forward, BIM 360 will become a key part of the AEC solution workflow, right? Okay, we'll check. I'll check. So there is a request for sharing the recording of this webinar. The recording probably we'll be posting on our YouTube channel. So there is an Autodesk India YouTube channel. So you will find the recording for this session on the YouTube channel. We'll see if we can share it out to all the attendees as well. So point taken. Let me discuss that internally with my colleagues. If that can be done, that is something we'll do. Otherwise, the recording will be posted on my YouTube channel, so you can always have a look at it from there. Right. With that, I know it's a busy day for all of you. I won't take any more of your time. I'll let you get back to your work, because I know we are all working from home, or most of us are doing that. Or if some of us are at offices, there is a lot of backlog that we need to kind of cater to. So yeah, without taking any more of your times, I just hope that all of you stay safe in this situation, and we come out of this stronger. Thank you for attending this session. Have a great day, and goodbye.